And now we are going to be starting at 5 past, but we're just going to give people about 5 minutes to come in and join. You can feel free, Sarah, if you want to share your screen.
Sounds great.
We are live on Restream as well, so that's great.
Let me make sure I shared my sound as well. Share sound.
And just so everyone knows, we will have a Q&A session at the end. We'll also pause in between parts of the webinar for you to ask questions specifically about Makedo and Strawbees. But feel free to add questions to the Q&A. I'll also keep an eye out on the chat. And we will be providing a recording of the webinar. We'll be providing all of the resources that we talk about in the webinar via email and a few days before. So everything will be available, but feel free to ask any questions that you have in the webinar chat and in the Q&A.
Hey, while we're waiting, can I ask all the presenters, what was your favorite toy when you were a kid?
Ooh.
I actually demoed one of mine. Sorry, did I?
Go ahead.
I demoed one of mine. It was my neighbor who had it. So sometimes, your favorite toy is not your own.
Yeah. Often, yeah.
This one.
He has it.
Really old.
Oh, cool.
So I showed it today for the architecture students who had a visit here. So this is from 1978, and it's a programmable robot. And my neighbor had it. So I had to buy it I got one secondhand, so I could relive my childhood.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry. I love it. Still love it.
I loved Teddy Ruxpin because you put a tape into him. This ages me, but he would talk and so it's funny that we both have technology in our toys, even though they're old. And Simon, I loved Simon. Still love Simon.
We had a Teddy Ruxpin. I loved
our
Teddy Ruxpin. I remember that. We did, yeah.
What is that?
I don't think we do anymore.
This Teddy Ruxpin?
Yeah.
He's a teddy bear, and you put a tape in him, and he'd be like, "Hello, how are you?"
And his little mouth would move.
That's nice. I would probably have loved that too.
My favorite toy did not have a lot of technology. I loved the littlest pet shop little plastic animal figurines, and everything was tiny. And my mom was a pianist, and I would sit under the piano while she was playing, and I would set up all these little worlds for my little tiny people and go, tell me that you're going to grow up to be a librarian without telling me you're going to grow up to be a librarian. I would set up my little very organized worlds and all the little families, and and I would tear it down at the end of the day.
I love this. The chat is also adding their favorite toys.
Yay!
Yeah, it's great.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
I also liked, there's a big, I have a small, I liked Transformers, obviously, because it's my generation. But my mom said, you can't buy more, so I had to make them myself. So I made them from toy cars I put together they weren't as transformable, but they were quite amazing in the end.
All right, so that is I'm hearing some parenting advice there. I need to not buy my daughter things, and she will become a brilliant, successful education entrepreneur.
Just challenge them a bit, and then no, but not now. You can do this. It was a big thing. But she was a teacher, so that's
fun.
She knew what she was doing. Yeah.
Lola, did you have a favorite toy?
Yeah, I think so it probably would be a tie between three things. One, I had a Cabbage Patch Kid doll, and I actually went to Georgia and went to the Cabbage Patch Kid birthing center.
Not to pick it.
Yeah. And that was magical for me as a kid, to watch it, which is weird. It's like a big mother cabbage. It's very odd, actually, now that I think about it.
I remember it.
I had a weird yellow dog that I called Lemon Doggy that I really liked. And then also there was a thing which is kind of, I don't know whether to think about it positively or not, but there's a thing in the US called Pooch Patrol. And it was this little stuffed dog where if you were scared, you could roll up the dog's lip and it would look like it was growling. So it was this little toy that you could give kids that were, I guess, easily afraid. And then when they were afraid, they could just roll up the lip and make the dog look scary. So yeah, it was a tie between those.
Dog. I don't know if I have them now, but my mom gave me the Cabbage Patch Kids back with their birth certificates. She still kept
I had their birth certificates.
Wow.
But yeah.
A doll that had two left feet. Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's cute. No, it's fine.
So cute.
Just so you know, Sarah, we can see like the top of the, I don't know if we're meant to see the whole presentation. We can see the top of the browser of Chrome. Is that intentional?
I think she wanted
Does it matter? Okay, that's fine. Okay, we can go ahead and begin.
Does it bother you?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, we can go ahead. So basically, I'm Lola. I work for Strawbees, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Strawbees and Makedo, and we're going to be going through some summer camp ideas. And like I said, we'll provide all the resources, and I will keep an eye on the chat if you had any questions. But feel free to put in the Q&A. We've got 10 minutes for Q&A at the end. So with that, I will say take it away, Sarah, for the first part of it.
All right. And I think it did that because it's not my full screen so that I can see around it. So sorry that you will have to see my URL bar. Welcome to Full Steam into Summer. We're talking hands-on, open-ended learning with Makedo and Strawbees, and we're so excited to be here with you. I see some familiar names in the chat, so I'm really excited to be back with Strawbees today, and I am not on my own. I have two amazing co-hosts. I am Sarah Fitzhenry. I'm the head of education and community at Makedo. I was a school librarian for 10 years and the director of education at Bird Brain Technologies, and now here I am in my role at Makedo. And one important thing that I love to tell teachers is that I'm lucky to work for a company that still allows me to teach. So I actually had my middle this morning at 8 a.m. I teach middle school robotics, cardboard engineering, kind of world building with making tools. So I've had my middle school fix for the day, which is I feel like what you need to know when you go into this webinar. And my partner at Makedo is Colleen Graves. Colleen, please introduce yourself as if you need an introduction, please.
Hi, I'm Colleen Graves, and I taught in the classroom for 16 years, some of those as an English teacher and some of as a librarian. And then I got into this thing called Makerspace like a decade ago, and it took me on a whole new whirlwind. So I used to work over at Makey, and I made a lot of their learning resources. And now I am our content officer at Makedo, and I'm revamping our lesson plans and kind of just head of content and content strategy. So you'll be seeing a lot of me and Sarah now if you're into Makedo. And if you actually in the chat, if you have not used Makedo, can you raise your hand or say, I'm ready to know about it? And then we also have the amazing Eric, who I have known for years and seen in person many times. He's a great person. Eric from Strawbees, who needs no introduction, but he probably wants to say.
I can do a short one. I don't know how many have seen.
Can you do a short one?
I'll try. Let's see. No, but just this is the fun thing. I love that you mentioned that you can actually continue educating. Today I had 30 students, but it was students in architecture and interaction design. So I still have I can teach what I'm really passionate about, but I never become I'm not a real teacher. But what I am is the head of innovation at Albert Group and Strawbees. So we do more things than just Strawbees now. We also do apps and resources for digital resources to help out learners. But and that's basically it. I love play engineering. I really believe that artifacts can make something happen in you. That's why I love designing really good, not only toys and learning tools, it's artifacts for you to actually start exploring the universe with. So that's what I do. That sounds short. Is it short? I don't know.
You did good. Good job.
We are trying to keep each other on task because the three of us can get a little overexcited and wander because we do have a lot to do today. Here's our schedule. Meet your presenters. Check. We're already making great progress. You're going to meet Makedo, then you're going to meet Strawbees, and we're going to spend some time talking about inspiration for summer camps and summer educational programming. We've got free resources to share with you, and then we're going to end with time for questions. If you are a person who likes to have slides open on your computer, we have a bit.ly link for you there, bit.ly/full steam into summer. I believe those are case sensitive, so type carefully. That QR code will also take you to those slides. A note about these slides, I know for the Makedo slides, at least, we've put tons of information in here that we're not going to share during the webinar because we want to respect your time and make sure that we don't go over an hour. So we will skip them for the webinar, but when you come back to the slides later, you will find detailed videos on how to use each of the tools. You'll find tips and tricks on cutting, folding, connecting. You'll find more resources and kind of like expert how-tos. So make sure you come back to these slides later. We will not be sharing them during the presentation again, but you can come back to them and we've put them all in there for you. You have to request access to the slides. Oh man,
I'll fix it, Sarah. I got it.
Thank you, Colleen. This is why it pays to have a partner. So I'll give you another few seconds if you want that. Actually, Lola, if you could send that bit.ly link to the chat, that would be great if people want to get it there. Or if you want to scan the QR code, these slides are designed for you to keep and to come back to again and again. So save them. And then, oh, great. Thank you. Thanks for letting us know, Erica. It would have taken me forever to realize that. All right, so we're going to start out. You can meet Makedo. I'm going to let this video play in the background a little bit. Many people are familiar with Makedo, but think of it as a tool that you use at home. We're really, really popular with people bringing Makedo into their home. And some people don't realize that Makedo is an incredible tool for education and for classrooms as well. So you can watch this video on your own time. It's just a sample of some of the ways that Makedo can be used in the classroom. You can see the way kids interact with it. Some teachers talk. But we're here to kind of reintroduce you to Makedo and to show you that it's a phenomenal tool for education. Also, bonus, all of these people have delightful Australian accents because Makedo is from Australia. I find them delightful anyway. So what is Makedo? If you're not familiar, it's tools for kids for cardboard. We make tools for cardboard construction that are loved by kids and adults worldwide. Our tools are all about upcycling cardboard, taking things that aren't being used anymore and turning them into something new. Kids can build anything from a plane to a puppet, a robot to a race car, a flower to a fort, or a mask to a maze. And you're going to see a lot of those things in this webinar. The potential for Makedo in education is endless. As long as you are on board and excited about bringing open-ended creative play, building and experiential physical learning into your classroom, then Makedo can take anything and make it more exciting for your students. Makedo also encourages resourcefulness and environmental awareness because you're upcycling and reusing not only the Makedo tools and connectors, but also the materials that you are using to build with. So as educators, Colleen and I know that we are trying to turn our students into incredible citizens that are ready to go out into the world and do good and find ways so that they can perform well and just turn them into adults who are ready. And so these are some of the words that we hear over and over again from educators who are working with Makedo. Creativity, resilience, collaboration, environmental awareness. The lists go on, but these are the ones that we hear over and over again. And it's what drew us to Makedo and helped us to see what a powerful tool that this could be for education. So to really get to know Makedo, you have to meet the system. And I'm going to hand things over to Colleen to introduce you.
Okay, so I was telling everyone in chat, you might want to be in side-by-side speaker view, and you can drag your middle bar across if you want to make this bigger. So this is cardboard, and this is our safe saw. You'll see that the safe saw has a very big side of, what would you call this, Sarah? I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. It's got this bigger tooth side and a smaller tooth side. So it's always easiest.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it's always easiest to hold the cardboard straight up. So it's a little weird for me to do that for you right now, but this cuts really great. The amazing thing is it's rated for ages 5 and up, but we've actually safety tested with ages 3, and it's still okay. You use the smaller side to do curves. So if I can cut out a cute, I'm going to go down now. I've made like maybe an eyeball or a tongue or whatever. So that is the safe saw side. Each, the saw and the screwdriver have this pokey bit. That is the official term, by the way, the pokey side. And the pokey side you can use to poke a hole. If you're I like to do this with a roll of tape, which I didn't bring with me, but if you for some reason don't have a roll of tape and you're in your classroom, and you need something to hold it to keep the kids from hurting themselves, I sometimes use this other end of another pokey tool. So now I can just poke through, and I've got 2 holes to connect my cardboard, and I'm going to use a screw and a screwdriver. That's spelled SCRU. That's important, that change of spelling. And then you're just going to do it. Let me get that up on the microphone. Can you hear did my ASMR work? Could you hear the cardboard? Now I've connected the 2 pieces of cardboard. So what I really love about the screw system is that this is actually stronger than hot glue. So if I try to pull it apart, I cannot, because everyone knows that once you've hot glued something, you can pull it apart right away. But also, it's 100% safer than hot glue. There's almost no way to hurt yourself. Well, there is no way to hurt yourself with the screw. So it's pretty amazing. We also have these mini tools. So like if you don't have access to the big screwdriver, but also if you are in a tight spot. So like, hang on, let me grab my crazy cowboy hat.
Hey, Sarah, could you temporarily stop sharing for a second?
Sure.
Because for some reason it's not, there we go.
You can also like get into those hard to reach spots with the mini tool. So that's the screwdriver, the screwdriver, the short screw, and then the screw plus is just a little bit longer. So if you have really thick cardboard, or if you want to connect more than 2 pieces. But I have this very large skeleton head that I was working on, and the pieces are very thick. So it's very hard to do. Okay, so you can see the screw plus was able to go through there. And then kind of my new favorite tool is the fold roller. There's a couple of things I like about it. One is I can use it to do that and like fold really easy. But the other is if I do this really well, and I have like, let's say a younger kid, this actually gives them a better place to cut their cardboard if they're having trouble. So it's actually easier to cut now because I've made the scoring marks. So I really love that tool. That is basically the entire system. So all of our kits have a different combination of these. So like if you get the create kit, and then you'll get the fold roller. If you have a smaller kit, you won't. But then in our large kit, the invent kit, you get everything, and you get multiples of them so that students can work in groups. And that's really one of my favorite things is how collaborative they are.
And one of my favorite things is that they are so safe for kids that you can really hand them over and step out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not going to be waiting for you to hot glue anything. They're not going to be waiting for you to come around with electric scissors. You can really hand these real tools to students, and they can create and build by themselves. And it's so empowering for them to know that they can make whatever shows up in their imagination without needing a teacher's or an adult's help at all. They can look back and step back and say, I made all of that and I didn't need help with any of it. And that's really powerful for a student that's kind of learning what they're capable of.
Keep cutting.
So this is where you will find lots more resources when you are going through the slides on your own. And we also have a link right here to our YouTube channel, which gives you all of these, how to use the safe saw, meet the screwdriver, meet the mini tool videos. So come back to those so that you can watch them anytime. And you can also see our tips and tricks for cutting, folding, and connecting all here for whenever you need them. There are 2 kits that we suggest for educators. You heard Colleen mention the Create kit and the Invent kit, and you're just looking for the kit that best fits the number of students that you're working with. So the Create Fit kit is a good fit for smaller groups of maybe 4 to 8 makers, thinking a lunch group, an after school club. If you're doing it in stations, that has 260 pieces, including fold rollers, safe saws, screwdrivers, screws, screw pluses, and mini tools. And then there is the Invent kit, which is the one that is really designed for your class in your classroom, fits 12 to 24 makers. That's a wide range, but it depends on the number of screws and tools you students like to have. It might be that you can share tools amongst a larger group, or that you want every student to have one. Every teacher is different. Every classroom is different. One of the great things about Makedo is you can buy these kits, and then if you find that you need more screws, just buy more screws. You do not need to buy a full other kit if you don't want it. Or if you lose a couple of safe saws, because we all know that sometimes tools can go walking off, you can just purchase more safe saws, more fold rollers, whatever it is that you need.
Hey, I forgot to mention that it comes in this adorable toolbox that's like cardboard and reusable. Yeah. I also forgot to mention that when you put things together with a screw, you no longer have to worry about like when you hot glue, you can't really recycle that, or you're making more waste than you are when you use our screws. So when you use these and then you take them back out, you can reuse them over and over and over again. And the cardboard is just back to plain cardboard and is ready for recycling.
Yeah. They last forever. I love to tell teachers that they will last longer than you will. So you can pass them down to the teacher who takes over your classroom when you retire, because they really will last forever.
Cool. Just want to mention we're running a bit short on time, so if we can scoop things along so we have more time for the Q&A. We don't have any Q&As yet, but just in case.
Absolutely. Teaching with Makedo, you don't want to hear from me. Instead, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our Makedo resource hub, tons of free resources, lessons, activities, subject-aligned, SEL, things that students can do during indoor recess or free building time, all available for free on our hub. So visit that link anytime. Again, save these slides, come back to it. Tons of resources available for free. And Colleen is working behind the scenes, making that hub better and better and bigger every day. So be sure to revisit often. When it comes to teaching with Makedo, again, you do not want to hear from Colleen and I. You want to hear from the teachers that are really using it in the classroom. So here are just a few testimonials from teachers who have had experience with Makedo, the things that they're feeling about using these tools in their classroom, the way it impacts their students, and the way it impacts their teaching. I could talk about teaching with Makedo all day, but I will not, because it's not my turn anymore. Now, I'm going to skip over this for now. Now you get to meet Strawbees.
Hey, hello everyone. So Strawbees, I can keep this quite brief, just like my presentation, so we can go into all the wonderful play we've designed together, or prompts. But it's, as you've seen, just like Makedo, we have, once again, it's so aligned there. You could basically take like we're so similar creatures. We want to just empower kids to build whatever they want. So it's a hands-on learning system, it says here, but it's more to construct knowledge, to build your creative confidence, to build whatever you want. And what's really good with Strawbees is it's incredibly low threshold, and it becomes really quickly wide wall, and it's super high ceiling, which you'll see later. We actually talked about some of the towers we'll build. I do think we should be able to break the Guinness World Record quite quickly if we want to. But what I like about it, and what I emphasize when we talk about Strawbees, even though I'm biased as the inventors, I shouldn't be here talking. We should have some more educators representing me sometimes, but it's incredibly quick and super engaging. And the reason the quick is not to get done fast, it's to get to that first prototype and then realize, oh, what was this? And I want to change this, and to get into that testing loop, because that's what's lacking in many things. And as you can see with both Makedo and Strawbees, you can always try one idea and then rebuild, disconnect, rebuild, and do that in a much quicker loop than, for example, if you get stuck with tape or glue, there's no reversing. And that's what I want to emphasize with both our tools. I obviously also have a little Makedo kit here, a couple. But then we also, as we are working mostly now in education, we're aligned with lots of education standards. So we can go on to the next one. I don't have control over the slides, unfortunately. So what makes the Strawbees system? Well, you might know it, some of you here, but for those who don't know it, this is what actually makes the entire system. This is my favorite piece, and it's the male-female piece, and that's the core Strawbee. And what it does, it's like just connects to straws and to itself. So I can connect it with itself and make mechanical moving hinges. Not that that's everything you need to do. You also have the double Strawbee to connect over a beam, for example. The triple Strawbee, which is just basically to be able to build fast. So this is these two, and especially the 3 and the 5, they're to be able to build faster when you build big, large-scale projects. Because all pieces can be made with just the blue. You could have only the blue Strawbee and make every structure in our classroom, for example. Then we have robotics, and I have the little tiny kit just to show you here too. We have a robotics system for it, so it's really quick for connecting servos. Everything is snap on, snap off, rebuild really, really quickly. Once again, the speed is not to be done quickly, but it's to be able to try many ideas. And that's the thing. And then to facilitate all this, because sometimes it's intimidating to jump into robotics or building really, really large scale structures, then we have Strawbees Classroom to help you facilitate that. And we're in Strawbees Classroom, if we move on there, or actually the next, we have a library of courses, which are big, large scale like experiences you can go on. That could basically be a semester sometimes. Some of the courses are really big. But you also have lessons, which is basically 1 to 3 45-minute sessions. They can be, you can stretch them quite far too if you want to. And then we have smaller activities like their seeds, their idea seeds of models for the kids to just base their first iteration or prototype off of, so they can just look at the structures. I actually forgot this. If you see the images here, if you zoom into like any of the activities, the reason that both the straws and I forgot that too. You see, I'm not the teacher. You can easily tell I'm an engineer. I'm really, really easily excited, and sometimes that can parry for some of my lackings in my didactic skills. So what I wanted to say is like we have a color-coded straws too. So each of the models can be reverse engineered from an image alone, which is a really good way of getting students activated. Just look at an image, try to recreate it, and go through your own testing loop. But we do have step-by-step instructions throughout our activities. If you move on, we can see, there's some models. You can see the colors on the different straws and the connectors. We go to the next one already. Oh yeah. So all the lessons, as I said, are aligned to educational standards. For example, we have the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. All of them are connected to that. Strawbees was invented to be able to save straws from falling into the ocean, to build value in objects we didn't think had any value. And the reason we use straws is so lightweight and large scale, really, really quickly, that even your biggest structures can still be carried by the students across anywhere. Like everything is also wearable in that sense. But so you can see we covered a couple of different curriculums. And then we do give you step-by-step instructions if you need it. So you can go into, if you want to go through them step by step, you can do it. But I've seen my favorite way of transmitting a model is showing them a model and asking them to try to replicate it. But that's me. So you do you, I do me, and you also do some make do. So lots of doing here. So we can go on to how it's used in the classroom. These are features that show you can build the mechanical hinges, play around, you just connect your straws. It allows spinning, moving, and collaborating because the scale is so big. There's no real direction in building with Strawbees. You can build from any angle. So when we do the biggest systems, it's like you can collaborate on building a 5-meter tower really quickly. And then it all ends with, like you saw, they were playing with our grappling, the little grabber. I have it here so I can show you. The little grabber, it ends with a challenge to actually also see if you built it correctly and can do the fine motor skill transfer of a table tennis ball, for example. So really, really fun to play around with and really expands their mind. So let's move on to the next slide here. Wait. Where are we there? Yeah, and as I said, as I love physics, I just wanted to slide this one in here because this is physics. This is one of the lessons and one of the activities. It's a kite, and this is a trash bag and straws. I actually use glue stick to attach the trash bag to the straws, but you can actually just connect them using the Strawbees too, which we figured out later. But this one is an old summer camp activity that I just love. It's on Classroom, so it's an example of the really high ceiling. There is no ceiling. It's outside. It goes even further up. So
that's a good one to use to describe no ceiling.
There is no ceiling.
That works well.
So
that was really good.
I think a lot of you have seen Strawbees, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. So we can play around with our combinations here later. And I see already people are commenting. They see the different values, and I love combining our stuff.
Oh, great!
And that's, I think, is the most important thing for the open up in the kids. That it's not just one system.
Yeah, anyone who's viewing right now, Yusuf shared a Strawdo connector, which is like a Strawbees screw thing. It's so cool. So Either we
Cool.
all have to go make it on. You gotta, Yusuf, get him to put it on Thingiverse for us because I'm gonna
I
print some of
know.
those.
Yeah, let's put it up. Let's see.
I just
Put it as
I
a wish
love
list.
the word straw do. Like that's
Yeah.
so good. Make bees would also be good, but straw
Exactly.
do,
Oh,
that's
Straw
I
do
like
is
straw
good.
do better.
Yeah. But yeah, so should we do questions now or now? We do it in the end.
There's one question right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We could answer it. It's do you
Yeah.
find that the larger class works better to give the kids a theme? And actually, I think that's what we're about to do is give you some themes. So I think it's
Exactly.
kind of up to you if you want to let them do something super fun or if you want to get creativity flowing. Eric and I were saying a lot of creative constraints help us
Yes.
do things that we didn't know we could do. So actually, let's talk about some themes for summer.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because going open-ended some students that will absolutely light them up and they'll be able to make whatever they want, and some kids will be totally paralyzed and not know where to start. So before we jump into summer, I just wanted to own for a moment that teaching during the summer is very different. For some educators, it's significantly harder. Some it's just different, but you're seeing a different side of students and you're teaching in a different way. It's not the typical school year. And so what we did is went through our resources and kind of put our minds together and thought of themes that we knew students would be super engaged by. It would get them very excited. They would be eager to dive deep. Themes that were really open-ended, very creative, and would get students moving their bodies, prototyping, failing, trying new things, and where there's no right answer. For us, that's what teaching during summer is creative and open-ended, and there's no right way and there's no wrong way. So hopefully you'll see that reflected in these themes as we jump in. The first theme is City of the Future. You can do so many different things with City of the Future. Colleen, I want you to take this away because I know you have talked about this recently in your classroom.
Yeah, we made some for Earth Month, which yesterday was Earth Day. We made some new lesson plans, or I made some new lesson plans about creating the tallest tower, but also learning about the unfair tower challenge. So this actually goes well with that question we had. And the theme was making the kids build the tallest tower they could with cardboard, but we were teaching them about resource inequality. And so while they were building, I told the kids up front, I'm going to have you learn about inequality by changing the rules while you're building. I'm going to take some tools from one group and give them to another group. I'm going to take children from one group and give them to another group. And I'm going to do things like make you go outside to get the screws. And what I found from that was that it did frustrate them a little bit, but no one shut down because I preemptively told them I'm teaching you what it's like to have an inequality. But what we found that was so crazy, the teacher and I, was that the kids who so many things were taken away actually did better because they had to collaborate more and they had to talk more. And so that constraint actually gave them pressure that made them excited about getting done. We also have a really fun future city project where kids can design a cardboard city and think about the future and what they might need in it. So like, do they want to build? I think Sarah, the next slide is pictures of cardboard cities if you want
it
to advance
is.
it. And it's also going to relate
examples
to Eric. So they can actually design a cardboard city and you can see the little solar panels on the picture on the right. And so that's just a really fun summer activity and probably take about 45 minutes if every kid is working, or you're actually going to have them work in groups and also be really clear because I was working with a group of kids and told them we were building a cardboard city and each group was making a building for the city. And they all tried to make their own city. So they didn't get done in the 45 minutes. So be really clear with your expectations.
And 45 minutes is, of course, a starting point. But then they can expand. They can make buses, vehicles. They can make their structures bigger. You can add new challenges, something that you can fit inside, create a person to fit into your structure. And before I move on to the next slide, we do not expect you to memorize all of these prompts now or even to read all of them now. Again, these slides are yours to keep. And we have a free PDF resource that's coming to you afterwards that includes all of these different prompts, resources, all of the links. So do not feel panicked. You do not need to read them all now or screenshot. We're just talking through them and all of the resources are yours to keep after the webinar.
Yeah, and on the City of the Future, we start in small scale. So this could be a precursor to the storytelling with the cardboard. So sometimes that's the way I use it when I come sculpt something. Now, obviously, this is weird, sculpting boxes. but but it's fun. It's more like a setting and some play fun. So you can start out with Strawbees or add stuff to Strawbees to the other structure. But what I really love in the combination of Strawbees and Makedo, if we go to the next slide, it's actually using Strawbees to make spinning artifacts. For example, a spinning wheel to add some flair. So you put it onto the structure, the cardboard structure, or for example, domes to your cardboard future house city. You know, so you build a little space top of it, which turns it into a submarine. So all we do together is facilitate even more imagination and ways of getting it to happen quite quickly. So you can have like combos. Actually, I can show you another way that I always combine future cities. So here you can see I used, if you see my city, you can see I used the screws here to just quickly make something, and then I use Strawbees to be able to make hinges and attach something, for example a flap to a house or something to open. You could cut a hole there, but it's just be able to add some mechanisms really quickly and lightweight little linkages and hinges or something to pull from the inside. And we'll see some of that also later, I think, in some of these slides. I don't know where, yeah, but that's the thing. You just wanted to show you, because we're showing all the cardboard, and Strawbees is also made to be able to build, but it's not this, like, I absolutely love using the screwdriver to be able to put the screws in. So if you go to the next slide, you can see when we're playing with Strawbees and cardboard, we also built massive objects. And this was for our test session before we're going to do a big 3,000 person session with cardboard in Gothenburg. So we said, like, we have such similar DNA that we need to just play more. And that's an example of it. Let's see that's it. I love it.
I was getting distracted by the chat because Lisa just shared such a great example of tying this to not only problem solving, but also some skills that students need for the classroom. She said you could connect to real housing struggles in Western North Carolina, where housing needs are great due to the catastrophic Hurricane Helene. What an awesome way to encourage students to think about what's happening in other communities, people who are living differently from them, or maybe it's their home community and they're inspired to try problem solving. That's a really cool connection.
I totally forgot that. That's actually, if we just want, sorry for stepping back, but this is an example.
We do need to move on in a little bit.
I know,
though, just like
I know. This is toast, so I'll keep it short on the next one. But this is an example of a sensor we made. This is a dishwasher, like the cloth where you. So this is a water sensor, and then you put this structure on top, for example, for blast shields, sensing that the water level is going up. What can we do? So it's actually we're playing around to add some animation and smartness to it, sending signals or whatever. Just wanted to show that, and now I'm not going to show it enough, but hopefully we can share it in a video in the slideshow for you to look at afterward. But it's also, like I told you before, you see, I'm too easily excited. I can't.
You are.
Look at this and figure it out. Figure it out. Freeze frame. Yeah, next step.
Our second theme is cardboard petting zoo. We know that children of all ages love animals. And so recreating animals out of cardboard with Makedo and Strawbees is something that can keep them entertained and excited for so long. One thing that we love about creating animals and making a petting zoo out of cardboard is that it can work in 2D for younger learners who maybe aren't quite ready to work in the 3D and to create kind of the structure and the balance. And then when students are ready, it can turn into a 3D project. And they can be very simple or much more complex. I have an example here. Here's my little elephant made just from one cereal box. So it was just a few cuts, very basic design with his little trunk here. And this is something that really a maker of any skill level could do with just a little bit of help. I did not paint this elephant, so it's a Cheerio elephant, but you know, with the trunk, it's still recognizable, I think. Or if you're ready to bring a little more mechanics in and make it a little more advanced, this is a lesson from Strawbees' classroom, but I used some Makedo screws with my Strawbees. And so it's creating a linkage here that allows my T-Rex to move. I added some teeth and some eyes, and my daughter actually likes to eat breakfast with this guy in the morning. One of my favorites. So Petting zoo can be as small, as big, as low floor, and as high ceiling as you want. And don't sleep on that third activity, introducing biomimicry into your creations to get kids researching and thinking about how animals evolved and what allows them to survive in their ecosystems. That is such a cool challenge, and students can create some really amazing things. Here are some more examples of work in progress. The guy on the left is actually everyone at Make Do headquarters has a pet on their desk. And so that is one of the desk pets for Make Do headquarters in Melbourne, Australia. And then we have some students, as well as an example of something that started as a sketch. So students had to plan, and then they transitioned that sketch into a creation using Make Do. It's phenomenal to see the way kids' planning skills develop as they're transitioning from a sketch to something that they're building. Oops.
And you found the T-Rex template on the website, right? It was on the classroom, I think.
Yeah, I think
it was from Strawbees. That's right.
Yeah.
And it can be like an inspiration. What other animals would have the same mechanism? There's just something magical pulling one part and something else is moving. And that's something we like. This is actually another example of exactly that phenomenon where you can pull the tail and it can move the mouth. Then you can also put a servo inside and animate it with a robot. So this is an example of our whale project. So this is actually accessible on Classroom, but it also communicates. So it uses sound so the baby whale can communicate with the mama whale. But that's what's so nice with or daddy whale. So I don't know, yeah. But
stopping himself, he wants to talk about storytelling.
Yeah, exactly. The storytelling comes here, and that's where I love. Once again, we can see the combination of our tools. This is a rather large whale. Whales tend to be large. So if you go to the next step, you can with Make Do build the scenario for and this is Sarah. This is you should talk here, but I just came so naturally.
Yeah. I actually surprised this with Eric today. I did not tell him that this is what inspired me about the whale, but I created the whale myself. And then I thought, this whale really needs to be in the ocean. That's where the whale wants to be. And so I created this big structure out of cardboard. I have some 3D printed hinges and hooks here available on Make Do on our website that were able to hold my whale up. And then I could create a setting for the whale to live in. And so I'm ready for my whale to have friends and to have a story. I could have a play about my whale. I could write a game about my whale. But if you look in the background, my whale has some jellyfish and some fish friends. I have some 3D pieces of coral that I created by drawing on cardboard, and those are Make Do screwed into the base of my ocean scene. But my whale becomes not only something cool that I built and that I can control with robotics, but then I can create a setting and a world around it on a large scale because building big with Make Do is so easy.
Oh my gosh.
This is my little pet. So it purrs when you pet it and waves its little tail. It's an example of an actual petting. So, and this, as you can see, I used sometimes the constraints. I had to build it this morning. So this is a box that I folded out the bottom flaps on, and then I made it kind of sphinxy, and then I added some of our robotics. So you can see it closes the circuit when you pet it on the back or behind the ears. It depends on where you put the sensors. And that's another way you can expand. If you start with something really fun in the cardboard, you can expand it with the robotics. And I made the whiskers, obviously, with Strawbees there. So this is also, you see, the ears are stuck with Make Do, the whiskers are Strawbees.
And one of the things that we talked about this morning is that this is a really cool and effective piece that you've made, but it's not necessarily super artistically involved. So if you have students who are kind of like, yeah, okay, markers, crayons, whatever, all I want to do is attach some tech to it or build something. This is really just a box with a couple of attachments, and it still created something really impressive and interactive. I love that.
I mean, and that's also something we can see, like you can see somebody else taking over. Oh, that's a great framework for me to do that. Some just get locked into adding the fur or whatever. You can expand on things, and yeah, it's just an idea for somebody else. I love, in this sense, robotic and cardboard and structure memes are really cool. So you start with something, keep it simple in the beginning, and then just, yeah. Okay.
Megan just sent to the chat that my teens are obsessed with making 3D dragon head puppets, and we could expand it with the Strawbees and Makedo. Megan, you are here at the right time because Colleen has a little something to show you for our next topic.
Perfect segue there.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to put on here in the office, but this talking about wearables, and this is an amazing wearable. It actually uses our new Roto ring to make this hinge openable and closable. But this really fun thing about it, let me get it all the way on, is I actually made this to wear at wind fair. And since I'm going to be out in the wind, I have this structure to hold it on. And we have these on our website. I think this one is called Dinosaur Mask. So I kind of just copied the idea of it. It has a long tail and everything. But what I really wanted to highlight, I have a lot of hats today. I wear a lot of hats at work. This is the first thing I made with Make Do. Actually, when I got the job was this gorgeous cowboy hat because I'm in Texas. But I'm working on a brand new resource for making geometric headwear. And so the lesson is all about making crowns and using geometry and measurement to teach students and even non-standard units of measure. And I thought, how adorable would it be to use our tools as the non-standard measurements? One thing, I went and did this live with some librarians in Texas for TLA. And one thing that we talked about that I think is so genius is that you can differentiate by grade level. So for kindergarten and first grade, we have pre-cut shapes. We can have those geometric shapes already cut out, but also we'll pre-punch the holes because that's kind of hard for a 6-year-old. So it's okay to start and help them along the way. And so they actually learn more about doing righty-tighty and loosey-goosey because 6-year-olds don't know that. And then when they get to 2nd and 3rd grade, they can start punching their own holes. And they also need something to help learn how they can stabilize to cut. And then 4th grade and up, they get up using all the tools. So that's one thing I really like about that. And this lesson will be coming out soon, and it's super fun. And it's gonna actually be able to differentiate. I can't say the word today. Differentiate by grade level, all in the lesson. So no matter whether you're teaching 5-year-olds about geometry or 12-year-olds or even older students, they can all participate. I like that hat. That's a good hat. Oh, I missed one other thing was this mask. Did I show you guys the mask? Because it's just a box lid with a strap. So really good one there. All right, let's go.
Clearly the hat game with the wearables is strong. We all took the hat thing and really ran with that theme. Here are a few more examples of wearables. We've got some butterfly wings on the left. Those are close to my heart because that's my daughter. I actually made those with her. She is 2 and designed those every step of the way. So it is very possible for littles to be involved with these tools as well. She wore those to school for a costume day and had a blast. In the middle, we've got an example of some bionics. So if you are creating things to help the human body adapt and perform, there's an example of that. And then a version of Colleen's dragon dinosaur head. This one's got flames coming out of the mouth, which is pretty cool. So a few different examples of wearables, but this is just where it starts. Please don't let that be your ceiling.
Yeah, this is from our first Kickstarter. So we've always been into the wearables, and this is a perfect example of why we're collaborating now. You can see, so this is from we built it with Strawbees and boxes, but it would be so much quicker to build this with the screws on the top there, and then use Strawbees only where you need it to keep lightweight. But she has 2 strings there, one to control the crane and one to control the hook on the front. And then she walks around the room and lifts Strawbee structures because they are really easy to lift with the hook. So she was playing for hours in this wearable, and there's still a lot of engineering in it. Even some of the youngest kids needed to have a pulley inside, so it was easier. So that's an example of a wearable. We have some more examples, I think, here. Yeah, this is my wearable big hand. And another one of the super collaborations. This would be great. You can see it's connected with straws and string. And it's a classic biomimicry once again, looking at the tendons, how do we recreate it? This is done in, you can see lots of these examples in smaller scale, but that's where we love to scale up that play. And so one kid would make like a collaborator making a finger each, and then you connect it to the big hand. Then you have the harness, like, because Strawbees is really easy, as you can see, you can just put it on yourself and then start animating it really, really easy. But the harness there, I think, Colleen, you played with me with the zombie game. I don't know if you remember
I thought about that, actually. I thought about it this morning.
Yeah, exactly. So that harness we used for chasing each other and using the Wi-Fi inside of it to actually tag. So we have virtual tag, but it became a zombie game instead. So then we combined it with like classic slow moving things, and you have to close your eyes and start listening where your enemy was. Really fun.
Ooh, too scary for me. You two tell me about it.
See, that's the thing. It's my daughter.
Really fun.
Thank you.
My 5-year-old is a Halloween freak, and she loves that. So they play zombie at home. So my kids, they have it. I don't know where that's going to end up. And then you have a little hat also, beepy boppy hats. They send because you can use the sensors to make it blink in different ways depending on how you move. And obviously I have my fractal, because I love that you talked about geometry hats. All the big geometric shapes are really good for enclosing your head. So I love the platonic solids. We have our space helmet with animations. And then I use these first, and then you can cut this out in cardboard and make it much stronger. I also cover them sometimes with papier.
I have one on my desk right back there. I feel like my ball and your ball could we could use them together.
Versions, and then you can start seeing, how do we? So it's a lot of fun to make wearables. That's the point. I don't. Did I have any? No, that's it.
They actually had some questions that I preemptively answered and answered them, and they're gone now. But I wanted to say that Strawbees works with any type of straws, and for a while y'all were selling an earth-friendly straw. Do you still have that, or is it?
So the thing is, right now it's still made. So I am. It's made for a closed loop system. So we're still trying to get it all the way out. We had bioplastics, but right now we can't get it through toy safety, which is really unfortunate. So there are some hurdles. But
it would work with paper straws for people in Australia.
You can also roll your own straws in paper. I don't know how much so you use a 6mm wooden dowel or a 1/4-inch-ish wooden dowel, and you can roll it up and make them super strong. Cool. So then you can make that, you can easily beat the world record with those straws. And that's actually how I met our old educator, Lindsay. So she was rolling up paper straws so then you can build, they also become slightly elliptical, so they are way stronger.
Okay.
So, and as we said, like the straws, the long straws are there to show you forces. They bend, and they, if I show the fractal here, it's designed to transfer a lot of knowledge without even the teacher knowing it sometimes. So if you squeeze these, you can see they start bending, and then it pops apart. So the failures are actually where you learn a lot. So I love that, but you don't want straws to break too much, so that's why the connectors last forever, but the long blue ones, you might need to be able to replace them. I think we have a 10% over 2 years of some of them have broken if we look at across the board. But
and someone mentioned in the chat earlier that you could make kind of a skeleton of a creation out of Strawbees and then cover it with like a Makedo skin. When I look at your fractal hat, I think like, I have some cereal boxes that could really turn that into something.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I would say that's a very good way of approaching it. You sketch with this because it's not as durable when you can make your cardboard hats. It's amazing. But sometimes to make those 3D shapes is tricky. Then you can just play around with the different shapes. You can start sculpting it with the different color straws. And then you copy it. You put it out. You can always make it a mesh, put it out like a net on your cardboard and draw it and then connect it. Make the flats in the right place.
Eric, we had one technical question I answered. I'll make sure I'm right. You were using conductive fabric tape on your cat, right? And then you programmed it in microbit that when you touched them, that's what made it go.
You could use aluminum foil or anything, and it just senses that so you can use different systems. As we know, that's our old QuirkBot, but it works with the new robotic convention system too.
Just to clarify for Megan, because she was asking, those metal strips were conductive fabric tape, but you could use foil, which is free, or
anything. I just used it because I have so much here since ages ago. We had so many workshops, so I have that very fancy conductive tape that you use for.
I love that. I love that tape. Yeah, that's like shielding for laptops and stuff. But
it's exactly. Cool. So and it's, but you really don't need it, and that's where I showed also you can use that's the thing. That's it. Workshop in itself to figure out what conducts, what looks nice. Do you have is there fabric that conducts energy?
The other thing that people are asking that we should make sure everyone knows, both of these tools are reusable. Neither are throwawayable. You're going to reuse the straws and the Strawbees connectors over and over and over again. So when I'm done with this, I cut my straws, but I can still use them. I could take them apart and I use all these pieces again. I'm not throwing anything away. And everything except for the cardboard. The cardboard's pretty reusable. I can reuse my screws over and over. I can rebuild with cardboard over and over. One tip I might give is to have something to hold your cardboard in. Like I have this cute hat we made or this is a part of a robot I made. It's now holding my cardboard strips. But so you could have something like this if you don't want it to be a big ugly box, but I also have a big ugly box.
Have a little basket back there.
Yeah, big sheets of cardboard.
Yeah, and on that, once again, the connectors, they last forever, and most
last forever. Really strong.
Yeah, I know. We have a school we have a school that started when I sent them the prototype in 2014. They're still running that kit. They've just added some stuff to it, but I haven't.
I think I still have that kit.
Yeah, they are seriously durable.
You and you were like, those are really old.
Yeah, you can't guarantee, but that's the thing. It's super durable, way more than you'd expect. So that's the thing. But that's where you learn the materials. It's because it's lightweight. It's because it bends, doesn't break. But even when it bends, this is where if you come to the engineer, what's happened. If this breaks, this one can actually break, because it can have really powerful collapses when you build really big, like the fractal I showed you. If that collapses when the kids are playing with it, one of these might break. But what's broken? It's only that part, a very small piece. If it's bendy there, you have two functioning straws, or you have a functioning tension system anyway. So it's really weird. It only breaks for compression. So as an engineer, that can't talk about it that too much, but that's actually what happens.
Sarah and I had to make a cardboard arch that people could walk under for our very first build with Makedo.
Our first day.
And we tried to do things like using tape and stuff. And our boss came over and was like, no, we don't use tape. You can't add tape. It has to all be with screws. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It held up the entire structure for the 3 days we were there.
It worked much better when we took the tape off.
Yeah, once we took the tape off, the screen, and then like Eric said, at least for this, when the cardboard broke, we just added more cardboard and used more screws, and the more screws and the more cardboard, the stronger the system. And before we go, because we're almost done, but Lisa asked a question. They're asking the questions now that it's at the end. Is there a box to organize Strawbees? And is there another way? Actually, Lisa, I have a way that I like storing Strawbees because I donated all of mine to my kids' elementary school, along with the Harbor Freight open bin tool thing. And that's what they hold them in. So they're little colorful crates. I'll just look it up and see if I can find it real quick. But it's a Harbor Freight tool thing. It's just bins, and they're really easy. And then you can actually pull the bins off and walk them to the table. Really easy. So anyone else have an idea for storing Strawbees?
There are lots of ideas, and it's actually coming up because we're making one that's really easy to access very soon for organizing. So but we've also gotten lots of ideas from our users. So we didn't share any testimonials. We should do that, but you can check it on the website. Lola, we should have put that slide in the next time, because I loved that's the thing. That's where it happens. The teachers love it. But the organizing it is the thing we need to help out with. So we're actually doing that right now.
Yeah.
But I can't,
We have a plan. Hold on, wait 1 sec. We have a plan. We do have it's not available just yet, but we are hoping to come out with a proper organizer. So just keep an eye out. Also subscribe to our mailing list, and as soon as we have it actually available, you will definitely get that. Also, I wanted to say, I talk to teachers all the time who use Strawbees, and one of the things that they are really sad about is that their kids build all these lovely things, and then when they try to hang them on the ceiling, they get in trouble with the fire marshals, and they can't always keep them. So I'd say definitely take pictures, and keep those pictures. We always share pictures, and we're doing more to share all of the things that people create, because they come up with some really wonderful stuff. So that is a really good idea. Take pictures of whatever your students create, because we'd love to see that.
That was actually what Sheris was asking about.
Yeah, there's another really
don't want to get rid of their
question.
creations. So that's what I was about to say, and you said it anyway. But somebody suggested using Book Creator to add those pictures to, so then you could have a book of the projects, which would be really cool. And I think, and then they could type little things about it. You could put them on Padlet. There's so many ways you could save them. But I think what's been really moving to me, because when I made projects before, I never wanted to get rid of them, and when I need to use the screws again, it motivates me to take the things apart. So I'm actually doing better at taking things apart right now.
Something little that I found really helps is at the very beginning when I introduce the project to my students, I just let them know that taking it apart is part of the project. And so when they go into it and create it, knowing that they, what in our home we call enjoy and destroy, they know that they are going to love it and experience it and photograph it. And then part of the project is kind of releasing that cardboard back into the wild. When they approach it with that mindset, it makes the ending a little bit easier. It doesn't feel like you're springing it on them. They're not like, wait, I worked so hard on this and now I have to kill it. But it's more like, oh, I'm going to make this and then we're going to take it apart. And that's kind of the life cycle of this project.
Awesome.
Great ideas.
So much fun with everyone. Enjoy and destroy. I agree. Shirris liked your enjoy and destroy.
I have to remind myself of that all the time.
It's an important part. You get too attached otherwise, and then you won't do the next idea. That's a it's important. I'm sorry. No. I was done.
So ADD. I'm so ADD. I'm just like interrupting. I just know the time is up, and I want to say, like, we've got our Sarah and I have our real emails on here. We just want you, if you're interested in joining our community, being one of our ambassadors, email us. If you have content ideas or lesson plans you want to see, if you live in Austin, Texas, and you want me to come to your school, I'll do that. So,
same in the Virginia and DC area. I live in Central Virginia, but pop up to DC all the time. So if you are anywhere, if you're an East Coaster, I would love to see you teaching and anywhere. Let's get together. Let's work. Let's brainstorm. We love it.
Yeah,
and
Go ahead, Eric. Gothenburg, you're welcome.
Yeah, but we do have salespeople. We do have people in the US from time to time. So I'm more than happy to swing by if you reach out and see what happens. And we'll also, like I said, we'll be sharing the slides. We'll share all the resources. Don't worry, you don't have to screenshot anything. We'll be sending everything by email in a few days. If not Friday, then Monday.
And we'll be hosting a large zombie scale microbit Strawbees.
Yes.
At some point.
I'll be refereeing from somewhere very high up.
Sarah will be hiding.
Thanks so much for being here, everybody. We're looking forward to sharing these resources with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.